So last night, I found myself spiraling into one of the most absurd Duolingo marathons I've ever done. You know how it starts. You're just going to do one lesson, maybe two. And then suddenly, it's nearly midnight, you're frantically chasing XP points, and the Duolingo owl is side-eyeing you like you owe it your soul. At this point, I wasn't even learning. I was just smashing through lessons to keep my streak alive, mindlessly tapping, hoping for that dopamine hit of a glowing green great at the end of every sentence. And that's when it happened. That sentence popped up. Jil Dairo Bangul Nagaji Maseo. Apologies if I've butchered pronunciation, but in Korean it means never leave the room. The turning point. Now, I don't know what Duolingo's deal is. I mean, is it trying to be my personal life coach now? Never leave the room? Is this language learning or some kind of a stay-at-home campaign? At that moment, I just froze and stared at the screen. Part of me thought, has the Duolingo owl taken control of my life too? Is this a secret message? A cry for help? I was so confused and honestly a little amused. But then it hit me. I had spent the whole evening holed up in my room, glued to a tiny app, obsessing over whether or not I'd collected enough imaginary XP points to earn what exactly? A slightly shinier icon? More fake internet bragging rights? Reflecting on the absurdity. And here's the kicker. The irony of it all was that this ridiculous little sentence, never leave the room, wasn't just a piece of Korean grammar. It was basically my reality. Duolingo wasn't just teaching me how to form negative commands in Korean. It was unintentionally reminding me how ridiculous my whole pursuit had become. But it worked. That was the sentence that snapped me out of it. I sat there and thought, what am I even doing? Language learning is supposed to be about communication, about opening up new worlds and cultures, not about sitting in a room, bleary-eyed, perfecting a fictional streak. The big realization. And this is why I say Duolingo is kind of a magician. It's brilliant at creating the illusion of learning. You feel like you're doing something, like every tap on your phone is one step closer to fluency. But in reality, half of it is just mastering the mechanics of Duolingo itself, figuring out how to survive its random sentences, its dark humor, and, apparently, its unsolicited life advice. Conclusion. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to roast Duolingo completely. It's a fun app. It gets people started. But last night was a wake-up call for me. I fell hard for the illusion of progress. I convinced myself I was learning when really, I was just playing a game. And I think a lot of us fall into that trap. So yeah, I closed the app after that sentence. I decided I was going to leave the room. And maybe, just maybe, I'd try learning Korean in a way that didn't involve being chastised by a fictional bird.